you wanted to learn how to talk Minnesotan. We are starting, Ed! Anyway, it should be fun. I can't wait.
Greetings. I'm Ed Humby. Lucy's my wife and I'm her husband. Not too bad a deal.
Heartfelt sentiment from a real Minnesotan man. Ed and I have owned the lodge for about 12 years now.
12?
Yeah, 12. We bought it right after Ed sold his shop. He used to be a car mechanic before this.
Used to be. Still am. You never stop being a car mechanic. It's sort of like how you never stop being a Lutheran.
I can vouch for that. If he didn't have the hood up and his head under it at least once a day, I think something was wrong with him.
It could be worse, Lucy.
This is Miller Johnson. Yeah, he drives truck down at the seed plant. He's also a part-time electrician.
Yeah.
I used to be his babysitter when I was 15.
Lucy, where do you want these bars?
Oh, it's my circle, ladies. Lay on the table for now, Dorothy.
Hi. I'm Lorta Abbott, and this is Phyllis Fletcher, and over here is Dorothy Meyer, and we're part of the Lena Circle at the Big Lake.
And we even have a monthly book club that meets at the Daily Coffee Grind Shop.
And this month, we're reading 50 Shades of Grey. It should be pretty colorful.
It's a pretty good deal.
Sorry we're late, Mom. We're getting cabin 6 ready for the Bjornsons. Hi, I'm Darlene Humby. And I'm Sally Renner.
Oh, Darlene and Sally are both going after fancy master's degrees from the U. And they've been best friends since the day they were born.
Oh, and for you single guys out there, Darlene's not married yet, though.
There you have it, the complete Darlene story.
Woo! Cabin 4 now, Flushes. That thing was plugged with a capital P. The plunger was... I had to snake it.
That's frustrating. He farms just south of here with his dad, and he's Sally's brother.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
This is Russ's 3rd summer with us.
Ran an ad in the paper that said, wanted space alien plumber. And he showed up.
Oh, what's with the Band-Aid, Russ? Did you hurt yourself?
Oh, that's nothing, Darlene. I just raised up and hit my head on the sink there. Well, that girl in cabin 4, well, she was helping me with my tools and stuff anyway, so she just patched me up. You know, she was really helpful. She could probably be like a nurse or something, but it's just awfully helpful. And I mean, I was a little bit surprised, but just really nice and
Cute. Is that the word you're looking for?
Hey, Russ, you want to borrow my backhoe so you can dig a deeper hole?
Well, here we are. Let's get started on that first lesson then.
Learn how to talk Minnesotan. It's a really handy skill. Now that's merely a suggestion. No one's forcing ya, but still, our regional vernacular, while in no way When you talk Minnesotans taking wells its own reward, benefits befall the chap who chopped the flat at water north. The river falls to Grand Marais, the Vern to Caladelray, the mother tongue will speak with more accord.
Knowing how to banter freely.
It's really quite the deal in Ely.
Easier than Esperanto.
Only if you truly want
So
to.
talk Minnesotan or not.
Now, most of you out-of-staters have spent at least one summer with us, so you probably already know the 3 basic phrases already.
You bet. Well, that's different. Whatever.
So we'll start with a review of the 3 basics and then move into more advanced Minnesotan. See, I don't mean to interrupt Ed and Lucy, but would now be a good time to mention one of the sponsors of our language lesson?
Whatever. Might as well start getting the darn things over with. There's a ton of them. You know, you expect annoying ads on TV, but not in a deal like this. Don't blame me. It wasn't my idea.
Ed, you know that these people are our friends and neighbors and local business people, and we're happy to mention them because they've been helping us out by putting ads on the radio and hanging posters.
Yeah, but some of these products, neighbor or not, if you'd asked me first, I'd have said, no way.
Well, Ed, that's why we didn't ask you first.
Do you hear that music playing? It's the happiest sound around. The accordion starts to swaying, but your feet are like the stuck to the ground. The problems with your wardrobe, and now the way you dance. Take off those too tight trousers and put on your polka pants. Polka pants, polka pants. Everybody loves a new sensation. Polka pants, polka pants. Never any loss of circulation. Woo, woo, woo. lost out in 1970. They've been meaning to fix it, yeah. I lost a muffin bouncing through there once. Yeah. Then you're going to pass a duck boat. And then you're going to pass a pile of antlers with a sign pointing to the moose lodge. Don't turn there, that's not us. Then you're going to find a pile of cheese with a sign pointing to the mouse lodge. That's not us either. No, what you want to do is you go over the hill, and while you're going to take a hard right at the house trailer with the rope in it. Don't take a soft right, or you're going to end up in the lake. Well, there is another way, yeah. Well, work your way back to the Golden Haven Manor Retirement Center, and then turn right at the balloon statue, and we're right over the hill. I thought you might appreciate the scenic route. This is Minnesota.
Oh, I'm glad you're back. We're ready to start those 3 basic phrases now, if you are.
Sure, you bet.
You bet is an agreeable way of being in a conversation without expressing an opinion.
It's a neutral, sort of.
That keeps everybody happy, which is about the best you can expect.
The most common use of you bet happens in a Minnesota store, even if it's located in the Mall of America. Russ takes his marshmallows and Q-tips up to the counter. She rings them up. He pays her and says,
Oh, thank you.
You bet, thank you.
You bet.
the customer always says thank you first in Minnesota. That's just the way it is, so we do it.
Now with the second basic phrase, that's different. You're expressing an opinion without offering any concrete clues as to just what that opinion might be.
The person on the receiving end has to formulate his own opinions about what you mean when you say, that's different.
One night last winter, when Ed was at a school board meeting, I tried on this nightgown that I had ordered from a catalog called Alluring Designs. And when Ed walked in the door, he said, boy, that's different.
Well, it was!
For quick practice, I want you to look at the person sitting next to you at what they're wearing and then say to him or her, that's different.
The third basic phrase, whatever, comes into Minnesota conversation when you bet and that's different aren't powerful enough to express your emotional turmoil.
Please reply whatever in these typical whatever situations. You've been an excellent worker down at the plant for the last 19 years, bud. We're pleased with your work, but we're going to have to let you go without your pension. We're downsizing.
Whatever. Well, Bosco, your basketball game's improved dramatically, but I'm going to have to bench you. Because even though that was a pretty impressive full court drive and a wonderful slam dunk basket, it would have been better had you scored the points for us and not for them.
Whatever.
While you and your wife were on vacation, Mr. Snortley, she had us redecorate your living room with a Holstein motif. We put in Holstein carpet, Holstein wallpaper, and I even found this Holstein furniture with realistic Holstein feet. Oh, divine child!
Whatever.
You guys are going to fit right in. You're doing wonderful.
Your first complex lesson is coming right up. Minnesota men make it look easy, but they've had a lot of practice.
Ed, Russ, are you ready?
Yeah, I guess. For what?
Men talking.
Talking about what?
Road repairs, Ed. Should be like falling off a log for you.
Two standing Minnesota men never face each other during conversation. The angle made by the two intersecting lines running parallel to the chests of the men should never be less than 45 degrees. 90 degrees is acceptable.
public places can be found in that 45-degree range, but for short periods only. 90 degrees would be better. We never raise the hands or our voices, but it's okay to raise your eyebrows.
The conversation between two standing Minnesota men talking about the weather would be conducted at the full 180 degrees, with both participants staring off at a point on the horizon.
If men are seated during conversation, the ideal angle can be achieved by moving the chairs. But on a couch, both men will sit on opposite ends, facing forward, with only the occasional side glance.
There are no roundtable discussions among Minnesota men. Instead, they all sit on one side of a long table and stare out the window.
It's easy to spot an out-of-stater, say from New York. Hey Russ, why don't you be a New Yorker?
Yo.
Yeah, why don't you be from Minnesota?
You bet.
The two-body system. The New Yorker tries to make eye contact with the Minnesotan.
The Minnesota average distance between bodies, the MADBB, is pretty large. For example, movie lines in Minnesota contain fewer people per yard, that's 0.56 to be exact, than in any other state. So, if the line stretches around the block at a Minnesota theater, it doesn't necessarily mean the show is popular.
In cold weather, it looks like we're closer together, but that's just an optical illusion created by the bulk of our parklets and the swirl of breath fog.
Say, Mom, would now be a good time for me to go ahead and invite everyone to the particle board dance tonight at the American Legion in town?
Absolutely. Our piano player, Lars, plays for it every year. It is the highlight of the summer.
It's $5 at the door, BYOB, but there's plenty of wild rice pilsner on tap, and, make sure you stick around for that dance after.
The particle board pageant runs through the weekend at the high school gym. It's a play depicting the coming of the compressed wood chip industry to this area and stresses its economic impact.
It's really fun. You should see it.
Doesn't have much of a plot, but I like it.
The particle board queen and her attendants will be there too.
I'm sure Darlene wouldn't even mention this, but she herself was particle board queen when she was 19.
I think I'm going to put it on my resume once I start looking for jobs in the cities. Not everybody can say they were particle board queens.
You should have seen it. For her talent deal, she came out on stage wearing her Taekwondo robe, and she broke a 2-inch thick slab of particle board clear in half with just the edge of her blade. Show.
Yeah!
She's still single.
How about that crown, though, there?
Well, that was a highlight as well. They gave her this 20-pound crown to wear, made out of particle board. Yeah. It was so heavy and so windy that day, she had to hold her head at a kitty walk.
So make sure you come out to the Legion tonight to see the crowning of a new queen.
Yeah, they've gotten rippier now. Now the crown's made out of chicken wire and velvet.
Coronations, parties, bars. They just go together. Bars are Minnesota's most popular dessert. Hey, Ed, get your hands off those bars. They're for my lunch later on.
When Lucy says lunch, she doesn't mean the noon meal. That's called dinner.
Lunch can be served anytime, day or night, except at noon.
I'm just going to make sure these are fit to eat. Huh. Worm gut. tricks.
Oh.
So wait.
Yeah, you should know that in 1987, former Governor Rudy Perpich's Food Task Force counted up 973 bar recipes in Minnesota church cookbooks.
I don't like a lot of variety in my bars. No.
Yeah, Ed likes the basic Rice Krispie bar.
You got your Rice Krispies, you got your marshmallows, and you just press them together with a lubricant.
And that brings us to the most important food lesson in Minnesota. Accepting food only on the third offer.
Minnesota guests are never left sitting without a plate of food on their laps for long. The good host will offer you something every couple of hours.
And if they don't offer it to you, they're probably trying to tell you something.
In the following scene, Mom will play the host and Dad will play the guest. And believe me, this is from real life.
Well,
Oh, Ed,
yeah.
would you like a cup of coffee before you go?
Oh no, that's okay. You don't need to bother.
It's no bother, just made a fresh pot.
Now you didn't have to go and do that.
How about it, 1 cup?
Well, if it's gonna hurt your feelings, but don't fill it full.
Oh, how about a bar to go with
I
that?
appreciate it, but it better not.
They're double crispy foghorn bars.
I don't care if they're Macarena sludge bars. I made up my mind I'm not gonna let you give me one.
There's already one with your name on it.
Whatever.
Hey, Ed, how about some cream for the coffee?
Oh no, I can drink it black.
Oh, it's no big deal, it's just right out here.
No, no, don't go making a special trip.
I'll get you some cream.
Well, if you're going that way anyhow.
Hey, how about some sugar?
No, no, I don't need sugar. I can drink it black.
Let me tell you, Thanksgiving Day is a nightmare. If you have a house full.
Uh-oh. There's another one of those annoying apps.
Yeah, but don't you like this one though?
That's not too bad a product, I guess.
Slow decay snack cakes. Slow decay snack cakes. What makes?
What makes?
Slow decay snack cakes.
Snack cakes.
Last the way they do.
What to do, what to do? You know.
Do you?
Do you know that?
Slow decay snack cakes stay fresher than fresh for forever and a day. They last a lot longer because we put in.
The secret books in my senior as a trend.
Hello, I'm Doug Bergam for Slow Decay Snack Cakes. You'll just love Slow Decay Snack Cakes because they last, and the taste never changes. After a few months on the shelf, other snack cakes, they can change shape and give off gases, but not Slow Decay. They're good year after year after year. And I especially like the zesty tang of osteoproxomycin aracetrate. I always keep a few boxes in the trunk of my car right next to the jumper cables. Slow decay snack cakes, they'll stay fresh longer than you will.
Slow decay. Slow decay snack cakes fresher by far.
You want to keep a few in the trunk of your car.
Won't those slow decay snack cakes get moldy in the trunk of your car?
No, you'll get moldy long before they do.
That's true, yeah, a lot of guys like to use them for skeet shooting practice.
I like them.
Oh, say, I think I'll go real quick see if those people coming in need gas or anything.
While you're out there, check the minnow tank. They looked a little sluggish this morning.
Say, Darlene, you need any help out there?
I guess you could hold my hand while I scrape the slime off the aerator.
Okay.
You're needed for the next lesson, mister.
So, Russ, how do you think these language lessons are going then?
Not too bad.
Not too bad is a positive statement using a negative phrase. That's one of the hardest things to learn in Minnesota. Not too bad means the rest of things are going pretty well.
If I'm telling the truth. How about you, Lucy?
Can't complain.
I'm positive negative.
You know, could be worse.
Could be worse.
California?
Absolutely.
Yo.
I want to show you our new deck.
Decks in Minnesota are absolutely worthless, except for maybe 3 weeks out of the summer. The rest of the year it's too snowy, too windy, too hot, too cold, too rainy,
Thank you, dear.
too buggy.
Hey, Russ, what do you think of our new cedar deck with the built-in gas grill and glider?
Oh, that's awesome, man. Totally far out. Totally amazing. That is so cool.
If you're
Wow.
gonna get that carried away about something in Minnesota, you might as well slap a sticker on your head that says, "I'm not from around here."
Yeah, in Minnesota, you're taught not to let your positive feelings run amok.
Which is why Minnesotans prefer to use negatives to express their positive feelings. It levels things out.
I'll get it.
There's the phone.
Russ!
Oh, sorry. Yeah, lost while I lodged. 1 second. Hey, Ed, it's for you. It's your mom.
Yeah, I know.
She calls every week.
Hello, Mom. Yeah, we're doing that language lesson deal. Yeah, the students are listening to me talk to you right now. Mother says hello.
Hello, Mother
They
Humdy.
say hello back, Mom. Yeah. I'm fine. No, really, Mom. I'm not too bad. Okay, look, I'll call you later, all right? All right, bye-bye. Now, there's a prime example of what we're talking about. Mom asked me how I was feeling, and I made the mistake of saying fine, and she got all worried. And then I said, Mom, I'm not too bad, and she was glad to hear it.
We're going to give you folks some practice with positive negatives. Not too bad will be your answer.
So, how's it going?
Not too bad. You're not too bad? Wasn't too bad. Let's try can't complain.
Enjoying your vacation?
Can't complain.
Can't complain means you could complain if you were given a little encouragement. But you didn't complain, so it's still positive.
Not too bad is a negative statement that's positive. Not too good is a negative statement that's negative.
Let's say you're visiting friends and you spend the night on that hide-a-bed, you know, the one with the bar that cuts through your back. And in the morning you're waking up and you can barely stand, you're hurting so bad, and your hostess says, "So, how did you sleep?" And you go, "Not too bad," because you don't want to hurt feelings. But what you wanted to say was, "Not too good." Yeah, too good, yeah. Well, here we go. All right.
That's right, Dad. It's time for a special message from Hackenlip Cough Syrup, bottled exclusively in Hackensack.
Hackenlip, Hackenlip, choo, Hackenlip, Hackenlip, choo. Smoke no sneezes and no talk. Gone with a sick little man you are. Don't cheer up, choo, with Hackenlip cough syrup.
Did you know there are over 30 different formulas of Hackenlip Cough Syrup? For the standard cough, get original formula A. For nagging afternoon cough, get Hackenlip B. For the symphony concert cough, get Hackenlip C. Cough with headache, get Hackenlip R. For cough with headache and chest cold, get Hackenlip X. Runny nose and headache, chills, dizziness, and gastric, use Hackenlip C. And for night coughs, get formula M on the bed stand. And you're not breakfast now? Try Hackenlip Tea. Now with 10% real fruit juice.
Cheer up, choo, with Hackenlip cough syrup.
Available at Baldy's Barbershop.
Okay, now, from the makers of Hackenlip Cough Syrup, it's Wheel of Deals with your genial host, Ed Humney.
not fit like a glove.
Ed, try to have some fun.
What Lucy wants me to say is, welcome to Wheel of Deals, the only game show that dares ask the question, what's the deal anyway? Now, let's hear it for our beautiful co-host, Lucy. Returning for her third week in a row, our defending champion, Darlene. The challenger this week is the repressible Russ. You know, Russ, I want to ask you about that unusual wardrobe you wear, and you want to explain?
Oh, all of this? Yeah, it's for luck. I got my tool apron here, and well, my lucky pliers holster, and my lucky hammer holster, and and the best part, my lucky tape.
Not there aren't too many kids present.
Now, both of you know the rules on Wheel of Deals, but to remind our studio audience, we'll give the wheel a spin, and then pull a challenge card, and then Darlene and Russ must provide natural conversation using Minnesota deals in a specified situation.
The first category, issuing an invitation with 2 exchanges, 4 total deals. The challenger will begin.
The deal is, Martha and I are having people over for steaks on Sunday, not that you have to come.
So what's the deal?
Oh, no big deal.
Sounds like not too bad a deal. I'll try to make it then.
Excellent use of the negative, not too bad a deal by Darlene, which means almost the same as a pretty good deal.
All right, let's give her another spin. Oh, for crying out loud. All right, this one's for you, Darlene. The second category is getting lucky. Okay? 3 total big deals. I don't know if I like this one.
You'll never believe it. On Friday, I got a raise at work. On Saturday, I hit 3 numbers on the Powerball. And on Sunday, I went to church. Pretty good deal, huh?
Yeah, pretty good, but you know, I'm gonna have to tell you that last Friday, I found my car keys, and then I found my car, and then I found my billfold in my car. It was quite the deal.
Sounds like a heck of a deal.
That was excellent, you two. Quite the deal is a bigger deal than a pretty good deal.
And a heck of a deal is the biggest deal of all. Now it's time for the
Final bonus round!
We spared no expense. All right, in this round, the category is romance novels. Darlene, we're going to ask you to be Delilah, and your flame here is Jack Hughes. We want you to exchange in romantic dialogue with the deals in each exchange. The first one to make a mistake loses. Good luck, Jack Hughes.
And he's not even Italian.
Oh, Jacques, I love it when you do that deal you do.
Oh, you do, Lila? That's a good deal. Yeah.
No, Jacques, it's a very good deal. Jacques, let's run away together and leave behind this dreadful place full of bad, bad memories and ugly, ugly deals.
Yeah, you know, that could be a pretty good deal, all right. We could take my car, it gets 32 miles to the gallon.
Oh, darling, what a wonderful, wonderful deal. I love it when you talk miles per gallon. It'll be just us on the road, free spirits.
Oh, yeah, I could Be a heck of a deal, all right. You know, tell you what, let me just go check the air pressure in my front right tire and probably get some money out of the mash machine and I'll just be right there.
Jacques, we're so right together. We're good on the tennis courts. We're good walking around looking good. And Jacques, you're really quite the deal in bed.
Watch the concentration there, Russ.
I know.
Well played, darling.
We'll see you next week, darling.
Well played, Now, Russ, we want to thank you for playing What's the Deal Anyway? So we're going to give you this box of lures and sinkers and dead fish in this beautiful presentation box. Thank you for playing. Now, I'm not normally that generous, but the reward there was provided for us by...
Somebody's horn works. I'll go see who it is. I'll be right back.
As I was saying, the lures were sponsored for us by Guns and Lures. It's my favorite store in town. I do all my Christmas shopping there. Last year, I got everybody on my list a box of leeches.
Guns and lures, guns and lures. Just look out your window. Is it hot or is it freezing? Whatever time of year it is, something is in season. Hunters and fishermen, pros or amateurs, drag your carcass down to guns and lures. Guns and lures, guns and lures. Weapons for connoisseurs. Guns and lures, guns and lures. We'll help you catch and kill it so there's supper in your skillet. Guns and lures, guns and lures.
What's the deal, Mom?
Oh, it's Charlotte. Her car is chugging and lurching real bad, and she's got to be in the cities tonight.
My car was chugging and lurching the day she drove it off the lot. I told her it was a dog.
Yeah, that thing's a woofer.
And she said it's going funky with a kind of kirk, and it's smoking a little, and she can't get it on a drive. Could you help her?
Tell you what, my truck is parked right outside, full of gas, keys are in it. Tell her she can take that to the cities.
Oh, Ann, are you sure? Well, do you think you could take those lawnmowers out of the back first?
You'll get much better traction if we leave them right there. Come on, Russ, you can help me get Charlotte's car. You push, I'll steer.
Okay.
Oh, they're nice, Russ.
Okay.
Hey, Lucy, we just saw the guys leaving. Would now be a good time for the over lesson?
Perfect, sounds great, Dorothy. Ophir is a Minnesota word used by women, but rarely by men.
And Ophir rhymes with gopher.
So often a word or a phrase we use has a curious quality.
It enhances the flavor of language, sort of like verbal MSG.
And when used in the proper construction, certain words have particular spice. Here are two that are often united in a way we gals think is so nice. Over neat, over swell, over is a phrase we love so well.
Over right, over real. With an over, there's no doubting how you feel.
Two tiny words forming one exclamation, used when an adjective needs amplification.
Over true. You bet. If a kitten should purr, cleaning her fur, what is the phrase apt to occur when the cat crawls in your boot?
Oh, for cute! Or a baby boy, bundle of joy, giggles and coos, plays with a toy. What are you about to repeat?
Oh, for sweet. The potluck at church, you're left in the lurch. You can't find the jello you made though you search. You left it at home in your glove.
Oh, for dumb! You're holding your flame, you're mad at the game, you fling your ball to the neighbor's lane. It isn't exactly the rarest thing.
Oh, for embarrassing. Oh, for grand. Oh, for great. Oh, for offering all over our fair state.
Oh, for fab. Oh, for keen. Using oh for reinforces what you mean. This useful term causes grown men to shudder. One thing you'll never hear a guy dare to utter. Oh, for odd. Oh, for weird. What is oh for shunned by men and often feared?
Oh, for strange. Mystery. Oh, for threatening to masculinity.
That might be it. Oh, for too uptight. Overs, all right.
Give me an O, give me an H, give me an F-O-R.
In our local lexicon, it's the Northern Star.
Over helpful, over handy, over fun.
Overdone. That was wonderful. I think you will see you real soon for the next lesson. Well, how'd it go then, Ed?
She's on her way to the city.
Charlotte just adored Ed's pickup and tried to give him a big old hug for it.
I told her I'd take a rain check. Let's just move on to the next lesson, okay?
If you're from out of state and you don't recognize what's on your plate, it's probably hot dish.
Believe me, even if you're from in the state and you don't know what's on your plate, it's probably hot.
If somebody asks you to bring a dish to pass in Minnesota, they mean hot dish.
Oh, this lesson, sponsored by the Hot Dish Institute over in Ada. Yeah, it's a non-profit organization dedicated to the preservation, promotion, and certification of hot dish and hot dish products in the state of Minnesota.
The Institute has for sale the 3-volume official hot dish cookbook with 3,472 hot dish recipes.
The Institute also sells My Best Love Hot Dish Songs by baritone Ernie Hot Dish Olson and his mushroom band. Each track on the set.
Buy the album and you get a free copy of Stopping for Hot Dish on a Snowy Night by Minnesota's best-known food poets.
And if you're going to the state fair this fall, make sure you stop by the Institute's booth. They're serving hot dish on a stick from dawn till dusk.
The Hot Dish Institute has requested that we recite for you the earliest known hot dish recipe in Minnesota. It was found etched on a stone tablet during the excavation of the Metronome. According to the University of Minnesota's Classics Department, this first ever hot dish recipe is a fragment of a larger ancient epic.
Yeah, but I could never understand why, if it's so ancient, it was written in English, though.
They're working on that, Dad.
Okay.
They want you to know that they're not using any taxpayer money. It's entirely funded by the Campbell Soup Company.
Okay, darling, give it your best shot. Man.
We begin with a fragment of elegant verse depicting a large epic battle. We then leap from that to the hot dish recipe. It's a powerful juxtaposition. And then the helmeted warrior, sort of fierce in his demeanor, races across the field and under the bridge, his comrades and pals shouting him to his destiny. Oh, glorious one. In a large bowl, mixed together, 2 cans cream of mushroom soup.
shop closet where he can't hear us. He doesn't know what we're doing or why.
Doesn't have a clue.
Ever.
What we have here is a hot dish I made myself a couple hours ago. It's cooled off now, but otherwise would be a perfect example of the species. It is not that simple recipe Darlene just recited. It's more exotic.
Russ, we want you to identify what's on the table in front of you.
What?
But you can't touch it.
What?
And you can't remove your blindfold.
Is it animal, vegetable, or mineral?
You know, don't ask any questions and take off the earmuffs. You don't need those.
Well, I think it's a food. Bouquet is familiar. It's hot dish, and you still have the lid on.
Scary, isn't it?
The lid is off now, Russ. What is it?
Whoa. Yeah, it's coming in strong. Can I touch it?
Here's a probe.
Yep, no doubt about it. Pork around the hot dish. Let's see, you got your pork, your peas, your mushroom soup, your crushed graham crackers, and zucchini.
We called it pigs in a pond where I came from. Same difference, though.
What's the topping, Russ?
Oh, didn't think it was worth mentioning. Crushed ripple potato chips, of course.
We gather together regardless of weather, as hungry as monks on a fast, and make it our mission to honor tradition, concocting a regal repast. Revered generations left firm formulations, instructions on how to proceed. The faith of our mothers and sisters and others instills in their children the need to feed. Hot dish, hallelujah, the sustenance that soothes our souls. Hot dish, hallelujah, you holiest of casseroles. The famished one who sing your praises nowadays is sizable.
And frankly, as a food, you're barely recognizable.
Hot dish, hallelujah, we will chew ya till we die.
Now strangers to these parts, their hearts are hurt. They fret and fuss, their brains are in a tiz.
Sing it, sister.
These visitors are vexed, they're so uncertain as to just exactly what a hot dish is.
Yah!
A sacramental Minnesota custom.
Testify.
Our secret recipes are rarely shared.
Righteous.
But if you ask real nice and if we trust you,
Word.
we'll reveal the way that hot dish is prepared.
Hot dish is one foundation. It's cream of mushrooms. One can bring salvation and save a
15 minutes. We'll bring it on back in here. Lars will let you know when we're going to get started.
Oh, and if you use the facilities, jiggle the handle so the water stops. We don't want the well to go dry. Oh, and if you use paper, go easy. It's hard on the septic tank.
Dish, hallelujah, residue you spill.
Good.
We pursue you still. Food, glorious food, we will chew you till we die.
Okay, bye-bye. We got it, Lars. Oh, learning how to talk Minnesotan is hard enough, but harder yet is waving Minnesotan.
It looks easy, but it's really not.
No, I've been waving since I got my farmer's permit at 14, but I'm still learning. It's really hard. It's so hard.
I guess you could say that waving is the silent hello that's administered while you're driving in a motorized vehicle and you encounter an acquaintance who's also in a motorized vehicle coming from the opposite direction.
Wow, that's a mouthful, Ed.
Of course, the easiest way to learn waving is by riding along with an expert, or just growing up with it, but obviously we can't do that here.
So instead, Darlene and Russ are going to demonstrate for us using these steering wheels to represent cars. Use your imagination to fill in their cars, but don't give Russ a fancy one. You'll see why.
Most waving happens in the country, not in the cities.
Most people in the cities don't wave. They use their free hand to hold their cell phone.
And their other free hand to drink their coffee.
Sorry, Ed. Sorry.
The first rule of waving, Russ, is not lose control of the vehicle.
I'm sorry, I got a wobbler.
You are a wobbler.
Your first task as a waver in rural Minnesota is to evaluate and identify the approaching vehicle as far ahead as possible.
Your hand should not leave the steering wheel until the waving moment occurs.
The key to a successful wave is judging the speed of the vehicles. Because if you're both in fast cars, you can miss the waving moment altogether.
Well, don't turn around like that. It's dangerous. Just demonstrate.
Slow vehicles give beginners in waving the most grief. Because if you wave too soon, well, there you are, passing each other with nothing to do. It's called the wave vacuum.
Don't try to fix the mistake by keeping the wave up there either. It looks ridiculous. You're better off looking down to see what's under your foot. Long eye contact is just bad.
Wait, you know what? We're going to practice.
In fact, yeah, let's demonstrate. Okay, practice away. I'm sorry.
And this is not your show. Practice these waves, and Darlene will be your guide. But please be careful not to hit the person next to you with the wave.
Now, to demonstrate, use your left hand to represent the steering wheel and put your right hand on top. Go ahead.
The right wave is
tied to the waving situation. If this is your first look at your neighbor's new SUV, the whole arm and hand would be appropriate. Let's go ahead and give that a try. Up, over, down. The wave between real slow-moving vehicles, like tractors, involves the forearm and hand. Let's give that one a try. Wave and release. Come on, everybody. Wave and release. Now it's time for the finger wave.
Your hand is gripping the steering wheel. You meet another vehicle and you raise your index finger. You don't leave it up. You just flash it for the time required by the speed of the vehicle and how well you know your neighbors.
Your hand does not leave the steering wheel. Simply raise and release that index finger. Come on, everybody. Wave and release. Wave and release.
Single finger wave is a thing of beauty. When it's done right, everything else just falls into place.
Practice all three together now. Full arm wave. Forearm wave. Take a deep breath. The finger wave. All three of you once more.
So power dream machine awaits. Minnesota. Don't worry, we never leave the state. 3 popular packages are now booking. The Carnival of Crazy Days is a 24-hour whirlwind tour of 10 different crazy days in 10 different Minnesota towns.
Or try the summer schoolhouse frolic in a small-town school building.
Hear a lecture by a superintendent.
Coffee and bars in the cafeteria.
A brief presentation by the Glee Club.
Observe floor waxing by the janitor.
And then get your head checked for hair lice by the school nurse.
I heard you're budging on it. There's a Taxi Bus half-day surprise tour. Each morning at the crack of the dawn, when the bus is fully loaded, your driver will open a sealed envelope containing a secret map written in pencil by Mr. Baxter himself. You're then driven around so you can look at stuff outside your window as you go by. Bring your own lunch, daily departures. Tours of Minnesota.
Beep, 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 beep,
The
beep.
scenery from seats that won't recline. Baxter Bus, tours of Minnesota.
Beep, 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 beep.
Remember, stay behind the yellow line.
Baxter Bus Tours.
The next best thing.
To never leaving home.
Say, Darlene, what would you say is the #1 topic of conversation among Minnesota men?
That's easy. Cars.
She's exactly right. When I got married, my mom told me to look out for other women. Didn't say a thing about cars. Ed can talk cars for hours and not repeat himself.
I've been talking about cars and working on cars with my dad for as long as I can remember. It's probably genetic.
He's my role model. He's a genius. Say, Ed, what about that old Chrysler they had about 10, 15 years ago?
Russ, you rat. I know what you're up to.
That was some car. That was that 66 Chrysler Newport that I bought with 82,000 miles on it. Barely broken in at 164,000 miles.
There comes a time in each boy's life before he's ready. He thinks it's smart to let his heart call every tune. Here's one part reckless, one part dense, so it's so long to common sense. Now this knave's behaving like a common loon. He begs and gloats about the oats he's sowing. He goes for all the gusto he can get, but soon enough he'll sit and quit his crowing, reflecting on one moment of regret, right, Russ?
Oh, she was fast and what a frame. I still remember what's her name, the one that got away. She was a Plymouth, no a Nash, not too much style, not too much flash, the one that got away. She had what some might call a difficult demeanor. I quickly learned I'd better treat her right. I bought her things like rings and belts, you should have seen her, the way she loved to party most every night. I guess she had enough of that, 'cause she broke down and left me flat one January day. Without that spark I understood that I had lost that girl for good, the one that got away.
Let me tell you about my cars. 57 Chevy, 49 Ford, that 68 Camaro, Galen Johnson we scored. Cessna Cordilleras with push button drive. My next door neighbor's Oldsmobile at 85. Eldorado, tons of chrome, big DeSoto, Firedome, El Camino, MGA, Buick Special, Henry K. Chrysler's Hot 383, that 50 Mercury Caprice, Kevin Zimmerman, Monica, that Exo with the cookie grill. I remember how I cried when Studebaker Packard died. 3 on the tree, 4 on the floor, Hornet Pacer Matador, Hammy's underneath the hood, Goody's really made with wood, the one that got away.
It's just a car, it's just a car, a way to get you where you're going from where you are. It's a machine, you keep it clean, and every week or so give it more gasoline. He won't even try to hide it, that fiery gleam in his eye. Why can't he get that excited over something important like vinyl siding? Oh, he babbles so, he gets all sloppy for jalopies, and even though he treats it like a glamorous Hollywood star, it's just a car. It's just a car, it's just a car, a way to get you where you're going from where you are. It's a machine, but keep it clean, and every week or so give it more gasoline. He won't even try to hide it, that fire gleam in his eye. Why can't he get that excited over something important like vinyl siding? Oh, he babbles so, he gets all sloppy for the lobbies, and even though he treats it like a glamorous Hollywood star, it's just a car. It's just a car.
Hey, Ed, what about that old Plymouth you used to have?
Used to have, I still got it. It's in storage. Yeah, boy, just thinking about that car brings a tear to my eye. They don't make them like that. It was the first car that my dad ever bought brand new. Yeah, boy, I tell you, it had that wonderful flathead 6 engine in it that just would not stop. Oh man, we took that thing everywhere. One time, Dad and I took that car all the way to Dakota. Man, that was some car. Just yeah.
See,
that's
Dad?
true. Yeah.
If that car has such a terrific bonehead 6, do you think we could take a few vacation trips in it?
Trips? Trips? Do you drive the Mona Lisa? Do you drive the Corn Palace? You drive Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox? Besides, Lucy, we don't need to take a vacation. We live in vacation country.
Dad even dreams about all the cars he's had.
I get great gas mileage in my dreams.
Hey, Ed,
Yeah?
do you ever dream about me?
Oh, sure, Lucy. You're usually sitting right there next to me on the bench seat of that old 49 Ford. Yeah. That was the first car I ever bought. Got it used right out of high school. Oh man, that had that beautiful V8 engine in it that would just go and go and go and never quit.
Hey, Ed,
Yeah?
what's the most important fact on that 49 Ford?
Let me think. It had overdrive in both second and third gear. That gave you 2 more gears. That was pretty good.
You're baiting me now.
What Lucy wants me to tell you. We had our first date in that car.
We were supposed to be in by midnight. Got in at 1:33. My mother was standing there in her bathrobe and she says, "Well, Lucille, what do you think you're doing?" And I said, "Well, Ed wanted to show me his engine." And he explained everything. I bet he did. You think I was born yesterday, young lady? She grounded me. Hey, Ed,
Yeah.
would you do it all over again?
Well, I do have one regret. Never should have traded that 49 Ford.
Hey, Ed,
Yeah.
what day is this?
Well, let me think. Not Christmas. Not Halloween, I don't think. It's not garbage day. They collected that yesterday, most of it.
Ed,
Yeah?
I'll make it easy for you.
Okay.
We were married 26 years ago today.
Then anniversary must be the answer you're looking for. What's that? I think I hear the UPS truck on its way with that special overnight delivery. You're gonna love it, Lucy. Picked it out myself, spared no expense.
Isn't he a barrel of laughs? He's given me 2 gifts in 26 years.
Who's counting?
Yeah, let's see. Last year, for our 25th, I got a parka.
An Air Force parka with military specs. It had a silver nylon shell. Get it? Silver anniversary? Huh?
On our 2nd anniversary, I got a tackle box.
Filled with tackle, including the best Shakespeare spinner available in those days. By the way, Lucy, come to think of it, I don't recall any anniversary gifts from you. Seems like one of those gender imbalance deals, if you ask me.
Are you ready, Dad?
I said I'd do it, didn't I?
Okay, Mom.
And I thought it would be fun to renew our Minnesota wedding vows and let all of you join us.
Lucy thought it'd be fun. I thought it'd be different.
Pastor Renner will be officiating.
Get along this monkey.
Everyone, please join hands with your partner. If you just want to try this ceremony out, you can turn to the stranger next to you.
I smell a lawsuit. We are not responsible for any nuptial accidents, false promises, or worse.
Will the happy, loving couple please step up to the altar?
I'll go get him. I think I saw him all out of
Ed.
Please, turn and look at your partner with adoration.
It's a little strong, don't you think?
Yeah, but not for a wedding, though.
Please, join hands. To you, Lucille, and the rest of you ladies out there, that you promise to honor and obey your lawfully wedded husband, as far as that goes then.
You bet. Good deal.
And ladies,
You bet. Good deal.
very good, very good. And you, Edward,
Ed,
and the rest of you gentlemen out there, do you promise to honor and obey your lawfully wedded wife without too much complaining then?
whatever.
Whatever. Well, That does it, kids, and let me tell you, I hope this remarriage ceremony has been a heck of a deal for all of you. You may now kiss if you want to.
Oh, you shouldn't have told them that. Some of them are taking you up on it, and they don't look all that married.
Well, Ed?
Don't look.
I missed the first wedding.
Not by much. Looky here. Look what I found. Happy anniversary, dear. You thought I forgot.
Ed, that's 3 gifts in 26 years.
Still counting.
What is it?
Oh, that's the club, Mom. It immobilizes your steering wheel so that nobody can steal your car.
Oh, Ed, you take the cake.
Say, Ed, I'm glad you got a gift and all, but why the club? I mean, don't we just leave our keys in the car with the door unlocked all the time anyway?
Yeah, sure for around here, but it's for Lucy's trip to the Mall of America with her sisters. Figure I'm going to lose big on that thing. No sense having to buy another car on top of it.
And now for a word from Prairie Rose Soybean Coffee, Minnesota's only homegrown coffee.
It's morning on the prairie, the day is looking bright, and the big bold taste of prairie roast starts you off just right. Grab a cup of country goodness, big and rich as prairie loam. Prairie roast soybean coffee, the aroma says you're home. Chock full of soybean goodness and milk and watch it foam. Prairie roast soybean coffee, the aroma says you're home.
Prairie Rose Soybean Coffee. It's all the things you want in a coffee without all the things you don't want in a coffee. I don't know.
All right, now we've already talked about the 3 basics in Minnesotan. There's the you bet, and that's different than whatever. But now we're going to talk about 2 more words that are important during a conversation when you need to express a little bit of a stronger opinion. Those words are though and yabba. Let me hear you say it.
Though and
Yabba. Excellent.
Though is a word, Dad. Yeah, but is 2 words.
Yeah, but not in Minnesota. Y-A-H-B-U-T, yabba.
Okay, you win.
Yeah. Now, my English teacher in high school always said that though and yabba were what she called danglers, but I forget why that's bad.
Minnesotan is full of danglers. Like with, for instance. Say, Dad, I'm going into town. You want to come with?
Sure, I'll come with.
Notice how the sentence stops in midair. It takes some getting used to in Minnesota. Dad's pretty good at it, though.
What do you mean? I don't.
Yeah, but dangles on the front of the sentence, and though dangles on the back.
They dangle at both ends.
Dad, should we go ahead and give our students some examples of yeah buttles?
Yeah, but at the 180 though.
The weather experts say that winter in Minnesota refreshes the land, the air, and the people.
Yeah, but does it have to last 9 months though?
I see where Arnie Burdup is out now after serving his 2-year term for embezzlement.
Yeah, but it looks like he ate pretty good in that white-collar prison though.
Yeah, but deep down he's still a decent guy, though.
Yeah, but I don't think they should have made him president of the bank right away though. Though? Yeah, but enough said. Now, these language lessons, us men were talking about it, and we thought, you know, it kind of paints us men out to be kind of bland on account of we don't talk so much. But talk is cheap. It's doing that counts. Right, guys?
You bet.
This is Minnesota.
nosies, no Jose from Hibbing.
Senoritas from Spain are all partial to an hombre whose casa's in Marshall.
Just remember when you meet a silent sword and find you're running short of oxygen.
Though he won't often say it and rarely display it.
Oh, boy, you know it, the times need to show it. Who cares for the rest? You got one of the best of them. Minnesota man. Hold it.
From Northwoods HMO.
Well, 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 well. You've had a dizzy spell. You nibbled on a mushroom that you thought was amoral. Well, 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 you've lost your sense of smell. And vicious strains of viruses invade your every cell. Oh, 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 there's something you should know. At Northwoods HMO, we wish you well, well, well.
Let's listen.
Northwoods HMO, the industry leader for minimal care at the lowest possible price. Hey, Ed, isn't Northwoods HMO your provider?
Yup,
You been pretty happy with them then?
yup,
You ever been sick or used their services?
nope,
Would you recommend it?
yup.
Oh, there you have it, folks. Strong words from a satisfied Northwoods HMO customer.
At Northwoods HMO, we wish you well, well, well.
We hope you folks don't get sick on your Minnesota Lake vacation, but if you do, it helps to know how to talk. So we're gonna,
I always get sick when we go on vacation.
what vacation? Going to the doctor in Minnesota. It'll be with Ed as our patient and his glorious wife, Lucille.
The first thing is, why go to the doctor? And then the second thing is, before we go to the doctor, we always like to know what's wrong first. It's handier for everybody that way. Why do we have to be in here with all these sick people?
Edward Humda.
It's Humdy, and I don't think you said it loud enough. There's a couple people out in the parking lot that didn't hear.
A little grumpy today, are we, Edward? Would you like to be weighed?
Would you?
So, how are you feeling today,
Oh, not too bad, Doc. I hate to bother you if you're busy.
Oh, no problem at all. Are you having any discomfort?
No, nothing to get excited about. I could come back tomorrow if you're too busy today. It's no big deal.
No, professionally speaking, you don't look all that bad.
Could be worse. So, tell me, Doc, what do you think it is?
Well, you want my own opinion?
I do.
Could be anything.
I'm afraid of that.
Yeah. Tell you what, let's take a look at those ears then. Nothing on that one. better take your temperature. Yeah, you are a little warm, but then again, my hands are a little cold. Would you say that you are better or worse than you were yesterday?
I guess I'd have to say a little better.
Well, then that does it. Just keep doing whatever it is you've been doing.
Dry toast, tea, lying on the couch. That's about it.
Sounds good to me. Is there anything else I can help you with then, Ed?
No, Doc, you've done about enough. Just thought it'd be better to be safe than sorry. You know how Lucy worries. So, think I should come back next week?
Well, you know how you feel better than I do.
Oh, yeah? Okay, thanks, Doc. All right, Lucy.
Well, Ed,
Yeah.
did you ask for another prescription of those little blue pills?
Still got 12 left. Well, let's get out of here before I catch something from one of these other people.
I'll get it.
Now seems like a pretty good time for a word from Robbins, the rough natural cereal made from oat hulls and wheat chaff. Not available in stores, but distributed locally at the farmer's elevator.
It's Madeline in cabin 7. It's her shower again. I'll be right back.
You gotta bring your own bag and at least 2 letters of reference because they don't sell raw bits to just anybody. Raw bits, are you rough enough? Are you tough enough for raw bits? Made of balls and we check. It's a crude food you may love. Ha ha! But wait, before it's a part of your diet.
Must qualify me invited to try it.
For raw bits.
Now, while Lucy's busy, this would be a good time to tell you guys out here about guy time.
Yeah.
What we're going to do, the deal is we're going to introduce you to, if a guy, a lot of guys, and the old standby, a guy could.
Yeah, I was wondering if a guy shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Now, Lucy didn't want me to mention this, but it's kind of awkward for a guy to be talking about how a guy's always talked his whole life. It sort of makes the guy feel self-conscious, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like watching your feet when you walk.
You got that right. So anyway, what this guy talk is it's really just another way to keep from overdoing it. It's best to, if you're going to overdo it, it's best to do it on the downside.
Right, in
In fact,
Minnesota.
let me back up.
Okay.
Because I want to reemphasize that this is probably one of the hardest things for guys from out of state to learn. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
You see, in Minnesota, we're taught to overdo it in reverse.
Yeah. Like I said, if you're going to overdo it, it's best to overdo it on the downside.
But then, wouldn't that be overdoing, not overdoing?
We're getting in way too deep here. Way too deep. Let's move on.
So, the other day at the annual firefighters bingo fundraiser, we were trying to get enough money to buy new hoses, but we didn't. And so Jake, he was like, you know, I wonder if a guy couldn't just splice those old hoses together. And well, Roy, he's like, you know, I think a guy probably could splice those hoses together. And, well, after about 5 to 10 more if a guys, we decided to splice the hoses.
Democracy in action. Now, here's a Minnesota guy offering some indirect advice to a friend who's fixing the toilet.
Oh, gosh, caught me on the hopper there, Ed. Say, you think if a guy got at that foot valve with the vice grips, he could get at that leaking gasket then?
Now, let's take another instance here. Let's say you're at the farmer's elevator annual snow pride. But tell the guys what you might say.
Oh, no might about it. I'd say a guy could just sit here and eat smelting beans all day.
Oh, I'll heaven, as long as the beer holds up.
Now, the last phrase, a lot of guys, is used in a more urgent situation.
You know, Joe, a lot of guys wouldn't weld so close to a gas tank like that.
You don't hurt Joe's feelings, and you keep him from blowing up the garage and himself with it.
That's okay. No problem, Madeline. Darlene's bringing you a towel.
That's enough about guy talk, okay? Keep it on that donut.
It's Madeline Rockaway in cabin 7. Her foot went right through the shower.
Shower's got another 30 years in it.
It wasn't just her foot, Ed. The whole stall is loose. You've got to fix it.
It's real tippy. Madeline said she has to hang onto the soap dish with one hand to keep from falling over.
The soap dish is not meant to be a handle.
When you gonna fix it, Ed?
Monday.
Which Monday?
Say, Darlene, so Ed and I were having these guy talk conversations, and it got me to wondering, could if a gal be used in place of if a guy? Take, for example, let's say a girl wanted to fix a toilet, right? Could someone say, you know, if a gal just got at that foot valve with a vice grip, she could get that leaking gasket done.
Well, Russ, a guy might say that, but then a lot of gals will be wondering if a guy could talk with the vice grips clamped over his lips.
Oh, for enlightening. If you want to talk Minnesotan like a seasoned pro, never force anything, you better take it nice and slow. When you live in Minnesota, man, you're in a spot where the climate's extreme, but the people are not. Revise your views with the phrase it pays to know. If a guy were diplomatic or afraid to be emphatic, or if a guy's kinda shy, he'd make it his mission to temper his position with the 3 words, if a guy. A guy will dismiss you if you try to press the issue, and a lot of guys don't fit in. But if a guy were to try, if a guy would treat you like kin. There's a code we all follow when it comes to how we speak. And demands that a fellow be obliged to be oblique. It's a cinch to win a Minnesota guy's respect. If you want to be in, just be indirect. Rehearse this verse, you'll be in within a week. If a guy were like a local, but he got a little vocal, that's easy to rectify. It's a simple addition, just a snappy supposition, just the 3 words, if a guy. A guy who's a jerk would be omitted from a circle, and a lot of guys don't fit in. But if a guy were to try, if a guy, we treat you like kin. Now here's where things get somewhat more complex. When if a guy's used by the fairer sex, she's not ambiguous or roundabout. She means just what she said. Hey guy, look out.
Look out, look out, look out!
If a guy were at the door, a nervous alien or foreigner, we soon would see eye to eye. He's begging, he'd bargain, just to supplement his jargon with a cool cloth if a guy. There's friendliness in it, he'd feel fun to fit it, he'd be very gregarious. But if a guy were to try, if a guy, he'd be one of us. If a guy, you and I can't deny, if a guy, he'd be one of us. Don't be shy, just reply, if a guy, he'll be one of us. Yeah!
Well, I can hardly believe it, but here we are at the last lesson, the Minnesota long goodbye.
Mom knows we don't have time to teach you the entire Minnesota long goodbye, as much as we'd like to.
So this will have to be the shorter long goodbye.
You guys have been truly wonderful. Thanks for sticking with us over the rough spots. We have enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, Yeah, it wasn't too bad. We did manage to avoid a complete disaster.
What Dad means is that he's really glad that you all could be here and that he hopes that we can do it again sometime.
Now, darling, you don't have to translate. You folks have heard enough and learned enough Minnesotan now to understand completely when I tell you that it could have been worse. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Me too.
Oh, Lars is telling us he's already late at the Legion.
The particle board dance starts early tonight so that people can get home in time for the 10 o'clock news and weather. This isn't Minneapolis.
It's more like St. Paul.
Oh, this has been so much fun.
So the way that the Minnesota Long Goodbye works is that since you folks have been our guests, it's your responsibility to set the long goodbye in motion. They need some help, Mom.
Okay, I want you to repeat after me. Well, I suppose we ought to be going then. Perfect. You said, well, I suppose we ought to be going then, and then you just sat there.
It's usually the man that starts the long goodbye, but anybody in the family can do it.
I guess we better hit the road then.
Let's try that one.
I guess we better hit the road then.
Or you can do like my dad does when he's sitting in a real big chair. He goes like this. Well, it's the leaning back and exhaling part that's kind of hard to get right.
That is a tricky one. Let's try it. Watch Darlene, and don't forget the heavy breathing. Lean forward. Well, fall back. Exhale.
You said that before.
But since we don't have time to do the whole long goodbye, we won't be able to offer you the little lunch of leftovers before you go.
We won't be able to go to your car where you'll roll down the window and we'll lean in and talk to you.
Or you'll start your car, but you won't put it in drive.
And then Dad will have to take a look at your engine to see what that pinging noise is under your hood.
Could be nothing. But it could be the water pump. And if the water pump goes, then you lose your coolant, and then the engine overheats. Now you gotta get a whole new engine. And a guy's gotta do what he's born to do. How would I feel if your car conked out and I didn't help out? All right, just say. The lonesome call of the loon. Because across the Indigo
A silver sliver of moon bids an adieu to a beautiful day.
The waves kiss the shore to a lullaby lilt.
The millions of stars sew a sparkling quilt.
All good things must end.